In our list, Mrs. Amna Shari, Chief Executive Officer and Founder, Surunai Commerce. Come on, let's give her a big round of applause. And next, Ms. Nguyen, CEO and founder of SouthTech. And it is our pleasure to introduce our moderator. Our moderator for the second session will be Yang Berbahagia, Datuk James Fu, Business Mentor, Authority Institute. And I'd like to hand over this program to our moderator, Yang Berbahagia, Datuk James Fu. Over to you, Yang Berbahagia, Datuk.
Good afternoon. It was such an exciting first session. I took so much notes. I probably forgot my lines of what I want to share today, but I'm just saying I'm really excited. Why am I excited here today? Big shout out to sitting down with people from blockchain, people who are building the FinTech, and people who are actually on the ground. So I've had the pleasure of reading their profiles, but today's session is not about me. It's about each and every one of them. And I want to say that they will actually share their version of their profile. Why? Because I think that list is so long and I want to do them justice. Okay, I really want to do them justice. But if I would do this, I believe that I would bore people because I can't highlight what really represents what they're really great at. So I'll just share a little bit of myself. I'm James. I'm the moderator, and I'm really excited because I want to know myself. How can entrepreneurs? Malaysia is based on very strong base of SMEs, and we have close to 1 million SMEs, right? And 95% of them are really trying to be on the blockchain system, to be in FinTech, to understand how this actually works out. So with that in mind, I'll share a little bit. I heard some things in the first section, and I really appreciated YB, Dr. Hamza's sharing. And the thought of having a global halal market has really emerged. How so? This new emergence has really not just affected the local, regional, but the global market, and is creating such a strong presence in the developed market. And I feel that right now, with such a growing consumer base, I think almost 2 billion Muslim consumers, this is actually the perfect time. And why I say it's the perfect time? Because there's just so many things that need to be built, right? And just to add on that, the halal industry has grown to an expanded, not just in a small section of the world. I'm just so proud to say that it started from a small country, Malaysia, and we're really championing it, right? And I'm seeing people right now that have actually experienced a move from the halal food, Islamic finance, travel, fashion, media, recreation, pharmaceutical, and the list just goes on. So on my left, I have Puan Amna, Group Chief Executive Officer. Reading her profile, I was saying like just sitting beside her, I'm just going to be like, I'm going to be a fanboy and say like right now, the three of them are like what I say giants. And a wise man once told me, if you really want to learn, you got to stand on the shoulders of giants. And today, it's just been an honor to be able to share the stage with you. So on my left, Puan Amna. On my right, Tuan Zakaria Othman. Financial literacy. I mean, I'm trying to get my kids to just learn it. So I think you're the guy. We probably have a lot of good chats after this. How can we actually embody this in our youth nowadays? Because we're having a chat with my business partners. He's over there, Maverick Fu. And he was saying, you know, the young people nowadays don't really, I'll be mindful of the words, understand the true value of money. Like my time, when we actually go to McDonald's, $3.99, we know it's 4 ringgit, right? But for kids nowadays, they see $5.01. Father, no difference lah. But for us, it's like, hey, $3.99. Of course, you buy the $3.99. Why would you buy the $5.01? But with that, because of the digital payment, it's the ease, the convenience, they just pay. And guess what? They don't just pay once, they keep paying, right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And the last on the right, I had the privilege to have a chat with her, and I was just so energized by her. She looks not just young, she's married with 2 kids. I hope it's okay to share. And she works harder than probably myself, you know. So Miss New, Chief Executive Officer and founder of Celtech. Now, I'll just jump straight to it. I want to learn from each and every one of you. And I want to start with Puan Amna. Okay? Now, we're going to start with a 10-minute presentation from yourself. And then after that, so on and so forth. So 10 minutes, I would love to blow your horn in such lack of a better word, but say about what do you do, okay? And how do you think the whole market, the halal market industry can really benefit not just SMEs, but the local scene? Because you've actually created an ecosystem, a platform. And that is just the first in Malaysia, I believe, or is it in the world? First in the world, right? So that's really something to be proud of. And I want to hear from you. Share a little bit about yourself, okay? And what you do, and let the audience know, because I think you would do justice by just talking about yourself. Is that okay?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. I start then. Thank you so much, Dr. James, everyone here. Right. Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Amna. You can call me Amna. Right, yeah. I'd like to present something just for 5 minutes, and then at the same time, I add to the presentation. Yeah? Will not take long. Please, my slide. Huh? Oh, next. Oh, that's not me. That's not mine. That's Dr. Zakaria. Anyway, while you're doing my slide, so halal in Malaysia is not new. It's over 50 years. So we are the first in the world to do halal professionally in a way. But halal has been around for thousands of years. Okay? So it's not new. The second one, we are Serunai. It's called Serunai. It started in Malaysia 12 years ago. And of course, it's supported by Islamic Development Bank and JAKIM, HDC, and many more. I think let's move on to the next slide. Our previous presenter has mentioned this. Do you know that Islam is the most fast-growing religion is Islam? So this is, by 2050, 1/3 of the global population will be Muslim. This is amazing. And halal is not new to the foreign world, because 85% of the world population or producers of halal are today non-Muslim. Nestle, Carries, all the factories of halal is based in Malaysia, as you know. And Carries is one of the largest producers for ingredients that give to the McDonald's and so on and so forth. Yes, previous presenter, Dr. Hamzah has mentioned, we are excellent in Islamic finance. And we have, of course, the world largest in halal food as well. And of course, these are other things that's coming up in the world. So far, we are good, and I hope we don't left behind in the next few years. Yeah, next. So, OIC countries, next. I only have 5 minutes. I have this system next. This now doesn't matter. Next. Next. Just 5 minutes. Next, please. Right, this is a system. We are also consultancy. Next, please. Wow, this they give me. All right, in the world, we have signed now more than many certification bodies, and Indonesia itself has transformed. Do you know about in 2019, Jokowi has mentioned that everything must be halal in Indonesia. They really believe in halal economy. So today, they already have more than 1,000 auditors and, 35 halal centers. Now they're going to build 2,000 halal centers. Okay, this is amazing. And they have already appointed 11 agencies beside MUI, LPPOM, to be the auditors. So everything that comes to Indonesia after 2024 world must be halal Indonesia. They are transforming the whole economy into halal. Yeah, halal economy would drive the whole thing. Next. So, just for your information, in the world today, there's more than 400 certification bodies in the world. JAKIM is just one of it. But we recognize 84 logos from 46 countries. So, as you know, halal is not forever. Even Nestle, KFC have to renew their halal every 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year, depending on the SKU or the product. But these are the halal certifiers that JAKIM authorized, and they audit these halal certifiers every 2 years. For example, Australia used to have 12 certification bodies that we approved. Today, tinggal 5. There's only 5. The rest are 6. The rest has failed because there's so many, I'm sorry to say, not trustworthy, quote unquote, sorry to say, fake certifiers as well. So fake halal has become a major issue. They just put JAKIM logo there, they just put MUI, Alpipom logo there, but actually, our Spain logo, our friend is here, but actually it's not from there. So, as you know, halal is about halal and Thoriban, and now it's become something very difficult to manage. Next. So, fake halal, we have up to 5 million ringgit compound. Now Indonesia has promoted this as well. So if you have fake halal, you go to jail and you will be compounded. Next. Okay, so we also have a partnership with the Interpol. So this is a big one, so to educate them halal. So everybody get excited about halal. So this is great. So because for us, it's not new. It's basically Thoriban, that means it's clean and wholesome for everything. So as you know, cosmetic and drugs, if you don't have GMP, you cannot have halal. So it's all about traceability and all the way you do the halal process. Next. Malaysia is the largest ISO in the world for halal. We have 9 categories, 14 halal standard. So just to give you some information, this is very important. Just now earlier, speaker mentioned, yes, for example, many organizations around the world use part of our ISO. So today, we do that for many other countries. Next. So this is our system. We give it to even, I can say this, to all the KFC, Pizza Hut, so all the halal traceability from their outlet to their HQ are all traced and so on and so forth. Next. This is for public, before I end my talk. This is today have 2.7 million SKU. We have 12 countries connected. It's look at 133 countries. It's free. So all JAKIM data is here. There's more than 1 million over, including Indonesia. So in fact, we are helping Indonesian government and also all the halal center to all full traceability on the product. Next, I think that's it. No need to say this. Thanks, Dr. James.
I think that was the fastest presentation I've ever seen. I'm sure the gentlemen and ladies out there are saying like, wow, can you imagine working with her? So I realized one thing, that if it's okay, Puan Amna, is the higher they go in the success part of life, they get more and more humble. So notice I shared, they have 10 minutes and they must talk about themselves, blow their own horn, and she did everything except that. So in that case, if you don't mind, I'll read a little snapshot. I believe you have read some of it, but I just want to bring out a couple of things. Puan Amna, she sits on several very high committee posts, okay, in a few international business chambers. She has also been elected as the chairman of the SME committee, advocating policies and programs, okay? So I thought that is something to be acknowledged, right? The next thing is she's not just being featured in numerous conferences on international media. She shares perspective and views, but also in the areas of FDI, public policy, advocacy, SME development. But I think what I want to reiterate the fact that she also was pivotal in developing the world's first digital halal ecosystem. I hope I did justice. Is there anything that I missed out that you would like to add?
No, that's fine. I'm humbled to hear that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So let's pass the next person is Tuan Muhammad Zakaria Othman. Can you do the honors? Okay, you can borrow mine if you don't mind.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and I would say that it's a very good noon to all of you. Okay. Firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Penang International Halal for bringing me back to my home state. I'm from Penang, and I've left this state for years. I've been abroad, kind of thing. So I'm back in Penang. So that's the reason why I have to use my school tie, Penang Free School. Okay, just to say that I am from Penang. Okay, so basically, just moving forward, just give a short presentation about how fintech companies actually support the halal industry. So in this case, the way I look at it, whether you are halal or non-halal, fintech will assist you. But in this case, by virtue that this is the halal forum, that we should very much focus on halal industry. Okay, next, please. So how do we, as a fintech company, help or support the halal industry? First thing first, by virtue of the technology, we help to improve the agility. As you can see that any company who is very agile will be more successful. In fact, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's research says that almost 40% of those companies with agility improves far better than those without the level of agility. Then we also provide, how do we help in terms of technology? We help to provide informed decision making. How do we provide informed decision making? By virtue that we analyze, we provide the analysis, we provide the insights of all the data. You can see huge amount of data around, but how do you translate it? How do you interpret the data? This is where we play our role in assisting the halal industry, in particular the SMEs, to basically understand or basically leverage on the data. So we provide more of informed decision. We facilitate informed decision making. And of course, with this, we help increase productivity. As you can see, all automation and this kind of thing, definitely it will increase. And ultimately, as what Dr. Tamzo was saying, that towards the end of the day is still the bottom line. So in this case, the technology will ultimately, with all this, improve agility, improve decision making, increase productivity. Of course, ultimately, your ultimate goal is to basically to have a higher returns. Next. Okay, this is one thing I would like to stress, especially to the SMEs, to the halal companies. First thing first, you must have a well-thought strategy. Don't just jump onto the wagon just because your competitor is having this blockchain, your competitor is having this supply chain or this kind of thing. You don't jump into this just because it's a trend. You jump because you have got to have a well-thought strategy. Is it feasible to go into this? Is it not feasible to go into this? And of course, having decided on what strategy you are taking, you must also identify what are the right tools. Because you cannot just simply use a tool, one size fits all, just for the sake of cost cutting. And last but not least is embracing change. This is something where most companies face in the sense that because they don't want to change. They would have come back to say that, I've been doing this for ages and we have made profit out of it. So why do I need to change into this automation? So these are the characters for halal industry players to actually look at. Next, please. Next, okay. So this is how TFX Islamic can actually help. Okay, of course, there are numerous facilities, there are numerous technology, there are numerous products can be offered. But what we do, we look at the most important thing. as I mentioned here, we do provide data analytics because we strongly believe companies cannot move on if they are not able to interpret, to understand even their simple balance sheet. So this is where our data analytics comes in. And the second part is what we do provide is because towards the end of the day, funding is the most critical part of any organization, any SMEs. So this is where we try to facilitate providing or acting as a facilitator for the funding, because SMEs, this is something unique. While SMEs are being said as the backbone of the economy, this kind of thing, and yet, unfortunately, the banks will say that, oh, I'm sorry, you're not bankable, or I'm sorry, you're still, they're being underserved or even to the extent unserved. Next, please. Okay, when you talk about data analytics, this is how we do. We segregate, we separate, and we categorize and describe the analysis. And most important thing, we provide the insights, and also the diagnostic. Now, next, please. Okay, and in general, what we have, you see, in most cases, financial reports are on a standalone basis. If I ask an SME, what's a turnover? 10,000 or 10 million. So my next question is, where do you rank in the industry? In most cases, none will be able to answer me. Because you're saying that, yeah, I know, I made a profit of 10 million. Is it good or is it bad? So this is where our data analytics provide this information, because we provide our peer comparison, peer analysis. For instance, like Halal, they would like to venture into new countries, new market kind of thing. But at the same time, they don't even know who are the competitors, who are their peers, how do they perform. Is the Singaporean market similar to Malaysian market? Is Indonesian market similar to Malaysian market? So they do not have. This is where we provide these data analytics to facilitate them understanding the new market they are coming. Next, please. So, are you hinting that I have to stop now? Okay, next is basically, next, please. The digital supply chain is more of a factor. In this case, what we do, we are very much focused on the reverse factory, because we straightforward, our focus will be very much on the buyer itself. Because in most cases, when you talk about the SMEs, when you talk about Halal industry, a smaller company, unfortunately, banks are very risk-averse in the sense that, oh, this is too high-tech kind of thing, and they're not willing to basically to ease the financial burden. So that's where we are coming up. So I think, and then of course the other part of our financing is more vendor-led, whereby we go straight to the SMEs and we assess with them. And okay, on that note, thank you very much. I hope I have basically fulfilled the 5 minutes requirement, and maybe I can pass it over to, yes, moderator.
So thank you, Muhammad. Zakaria. I think that was it's most like he was pitching to the ladies and gentlemen out there, right? And it's exciting to see how he crammed so much information in 5 minutes. I probably have a list of questions I want to ask. Before I go into it, Tuan Zakaria, basically, he specializes, correct me if I'm wrong, right? In facilitating the financial literacy for professionals as well as entrepreneurs and SME executives, particularly who are not in the financial background. So I want to clarify on that. And with that, I want to pass to the next person, Ms. New.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is New. I'm a Soltech CEO. And Soltech actually is the digital marketing and tech companies. Today, actually, I don't have the slide to show, but I just want to share some story with everyone here. I do believe that majority of manufacturers in Penang are E&E, but just now I hear a lot of I think Professor Annie also got mentioned, why not trade, right? Because for me, I'm a Vietnamese and I stay in Malaysia, and now permanently I stay here. My husband Malaysian, I have kids also Malaysian. And I feel that Penang is a great place for us to learn, to grow together. And for the past few years, I'm building consulting brands in marketing research. I'm in Nelson before. I'm doing a lot of market research for bank, for telco, even for big MNC. And I'm very lucky that I work a lot with supply chain companies. Even I work with factory in Penang. So we consult the factory how to grow the product cross-border and how to do the trading without border, without going anywhere. So that's why I'm here today to share with you more on the virtual visibility and how to grow the brand across all the platform itself. We are talking about Halal supply chains. Why I'm coming here today with all the senior here, actually I'm very proud as well. I feel that lucky. But I also want to be a connector because last month, Vietnamese government actually set up a COE. The Ministry of Trade and all also call me because they are building the policy and how to help more SME in Vietnam actually can trade the product to Middle East and Halal industry. And I stayed in UK for 6 years. That's where I met all of them when we studied together. So some of professors, actually my classmates, then they are now building the policy, which they work a lot with Mr. Ramlan as well to build a Halal COE. We call Halal Excellence Center in Vietnam. And a lot of them, couple weeks ago, also called me and asked how actually Malaysian companies or any association actually can help or advise. And a lot of things actually is a supply chain. And I feel it's very interesting. Why? Because we need to work together. We need to trust each other. We actually need talent. And where the talent are coming from, actually not just from Penang, not just from Malaysia, we have to leverage on everyone and every people from different countries to help, right? So I also told to our government that why not we supply the raw material, because we have a lot of raw material. We have coffee, we have tea, we have a lot of halal product like chicken, for example. We actually can build a whole supply chain. Me, myself, actually last time I also go and learn all the Incoterms in terms of the logistic and the supply chain in order to advise the customer. And in the supply chain, actually, there's a lot of things involved for the halal industry. And we call that is a supply chain, right? How the logistic actually move and how you produce the product, Vietnamese need that. And that is something that is really amazed me. We have everything because the supply chain is actually moving from the east to the west, right? So we are the East, we are Southeast Asia, we have to support each other. We need to give the raw material to Malaysian companies. From there, we also can reproduce, we even can park our product at the bonded warehouse or any warehouse, in Port Klang or even in Penang Port. From there, we repackaging with the halal. All of our advisors are actually coming to be together and help. That is we call supply chain, and that we call the ecosystem. That's why recently I set up Fado Malaysia, which you can see Fado Group outside. Fado Group under group level, we have 12 companies. We have logistic, we have clearance, custom clearance, we have warehousing at G7. So upcoming Fado Malaysia will be based here for the global market. So we will do more cross-border between Malaysia to G7 to Vietnam and Cambodia. So that is something that I really passionate about in order to build a platform where the goods can move around. And one thing I feel about the Malaysian, when we have an order, we don't know how to actually produce, how to send, and how we pay. That is something about the F&B actually, they are actually struggling. And what kind of certification. And I also consult a lot of halal companies, especially cosmetic before, perfume. When they have an order, they don't know, hey, I have an order, how I ship the perfume. And I told them perfume excludes, the product is a flammable product. So you need to start doing the sample. You send over there first. Yeah, so people like, then they will order more. So if you don't send a sample, how people buy more. So because of that, actually deter them from exporting outside of the country. And I feel that is a waste. We can work with more people, how we can move this product, right? In Vietnam, we move using the railway. We use a lot of methods, because railway also monopolized by our father group. So we have a railway from Vietnam to China to Europe. So we can ship the product better. We don't need to go by air. So there's a lot of things there. So for us as Soltech, right, I vision ourselves as tech companies that we build ecosystem. We build a B2B platform where everyone can exhibit, everyone can sell the product cross-border. They can do business matching cross-border. So that is about Soltech. And ourselves, Fado Malaysia will be also under Soltech because we want to help more merchants. So we build a lot of platform, we build a lot of technology because we want to help more Malaysian companies to go cross-border. At the same time, we also can have more raw materials to be able to reproduce, repackaging, and with the Halal cert. In fact, I think in September and October, it's still not finalized yet. I'm doing another event in Vietnam for the Vietnamese government and association because they asked us to help to link the product to the Middle East. So this is another event that we are doing. And I feel very passionate about this because I feel that is something we need to be, when the hard time happens, we need to work more closely together. When we work, we fail, we learn, we fail, we learn, we keep standing up and be stronger again. So that is what I want to share with all the seniors here today because we also just trying our best to build a tech hub in Penang, and especially we are now building the logistic hub. Because we have been talking with the FDI as well, we try to build more logistic hub and their warehousing. So this is something that I'm trying to build. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I think that is short and sweet. Thank you, Dr. James.
You're welcome, you're welcome. That was indeed short and sweet. I have tons of questions here. Puan Amna, I just want to bring up the fact that something struck me as you shared your presentation. You mentioned the word fake halal. Enlighten me if you could, or the audience here is, it's very difficult to police, to track, to trace, to even determine the truth. I mean, be honest, right? Because the topic is how can we harness technology in the halal industry? So this big question to me is who can actually track, trace, or determine the truth in this process? And what are the criteria that need to be looked at for people who want to embark on this journey of getting the halal certification?
Very good question. It is difficult because, and it cannot be done now, I'll be honest with you. You need every participation from everybody. So that's why we're doing a major pilot program now in Indonesia with all the government agencies. So it started with the Ministry of Islam there, that JPH, and all the auditors and all the halal centers and all the companies that apply all have this system all integrated together. So all the ministries will be able to access to all this data and check and so on and so forth. So to answer your question, it cannot be done just like that. Even today, there's no one organization, no one country that's able to do it yet. So even Malaysia is still way behind. So I would say another year, Indonesia will lead the world. In fact, we will complete our system live before end of the year with them and all the ministries. So imagine every application has to go through the system, even the processes in the company must be recorded. I'll give you an example. KFC has more than, or QSR, has more than 2,000 ingredients from 150 countries. And everything from your salt to your flour to your paste must be in real halal. You know, halal, as you know, a year or two or what, you have to renew all the time. All this traceability must be recorded, and you have to prove that you purchased this product, where, and all must be recorded, and you must have all the halal executive validating all this, and so on and so forth. From the very start to the very end, to the certifier of that company, all must have bird-eye view of all the system. The moment one garam or one salt has lapsed their halal, the end product is no longer halal. That's hard, right? But that's the reality in halal. So of course we have all the blockchain, all the traceability, and so on and so forth. But let's talk about logistics itself. So the moment the product is shipped from Baba's Curry factory, for example, or Dhabi or whatever, and it has to go through the trucks and to the cargo, to the place. All this process, even do you know that we have halal warehouse, halal logistic, and so on and so forth. So Mass Cargo, Northport are all halal, certified halal, Container National are. I guess less than 10 logistic companies are halal at the moment. But the good thing is that people like Nippon and all that, all the foreigners are embarking into it. Hey, they have the Wagyu halal as well. So people are catching up big way now with halal. So there's no one big solution to your question. It's a big question, actually. You know, it needs to start somewhere. But that's why I would say the country that I think can go to full traceability of halal, it will be Indonesia. Because, for example, the moment drugs and cosmetic, it doesn't go to Ministry of Islam right away to validate, or to the MUI LPPOM to validate the auditor. It must go to the Ministry of Health to verify that specific product first, prior to go to the auditor before it got the certificate of halal. So all these processes has to be recorded and validated through the system, and so on and so forth. Unless you are truly integrated, only then, like my Verify Halal app is free for everybody to download. So as you scan the product or the barcode or the restaurant QR, you know that it's real halal company or halal product. So it is a start of the game. In fact, I've been doing this for more than 15 years, advocating halal for more than 20 years. My company is 12 years. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. I think we've got grace. I think if we do it properly now, and now with the Islamic Development Bank adopting this technology, and they want it to go full blast, not only to OIC countries, but hey, Russia has more than 200 million Muslims, India has more than 400 million Muslims, and so on and so forth. So this is also, we're going to go for Latin America, and so on and so forth. So to answer your question, sorry, it's a bit long. It is tough. It's not here yet, but we must start somewhere. If you are really ambitious and you really want to transform your state or your country, I would say Pemerintah Jokowi and Wapres, the deputy president, they have, I think it will work, because I've just been to Indonesia recently, almost every month. Okay, my God, all the states, all the rakyat, all the people are so bersemangat. They all want to be halal for the world from Indonesia. So imagine, not only they're going to export, they're also going to make sure everybody that send barang-barang, all the product to Indonesia, all must have Indonesia halal logo. So they will create more offices around the world, okay, around the world. So they're going to export human resources, talents, and so on and so forth. Auditors, they're going to hire thousands and thousands of Indonesian auditors to go abroad. They are transforming their halal economy and harnessing it. Yeah.
This just gave me a food for thought that I wrote down. So I run a little resort. It's about 38 acres in Bentong. If you all like durians, I'm happy to invite you there. The question right now is, it's going to be a bit devil's advocate here. Are there
Halal.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. So, no, go ahead. All right. And the fact of the matter is there anything that should not go on the halal list? Because right now, almost everyone is just moving, steam pushing the whole halal trend, right? So, example, right now in the resort, there's bees. So, a gentleman came to us and said, like, you know what? Your bees, and they produce the honey, they also must be halal, and they must be recorded. And as you shared that, and I was just wondering right now, you and your team at Surunai Commerce have developed a very comprehensive digital halal ecosystem. How can small business like us be part of that ecosystem? Apart from being fake right now, but how can we be part of the ecosystem? Because if I've not had the privilege to meet you today, I wouldn't know that's necessary to actually get this.
First of all, may I answer your question of fake halal first? My apology. There's a lot of people using the logo of Jakim, Indonesia, and all the... Jakim is quite old, yeah? So they use the Jakim holo, tapi around the world. We fail to trace them. Even in Malaysia also, they're so berani, so brave, they use the logo. So how do you trace them? At the moment, we work with Ministry of Domestic Trade, and they use our app, and also they work with Jakim in order to, and also the public, to give them the information. Unfortunately, they have to rely on the public at the moment because the full system is not there yet, right? So I think I answered that. Although kita ada up to 5 million ringgit and 1 year jail, they still do fake halal. So they don't care because they make a lot of money in short space of time. And also there's a fake certifiers. I'll be honest with you, they just work hard to get Jakim certification or Indonesia certification, recognize them, have 4,000 certificate and just give it to them, and 10,000 US dollar times 4,000, you just need to be around for 2 years and you have your gold and things like that and your Bentley. Who cares, right? So let's talk about, Dato' James said, how to get into the halal ecosystem. I think it's a big word, halal ecosystem. So for me, I go from the source, from the plantation to source. Everything is trackable, even the palm oil, even the coffee. Now we're doing a full work with Aceh and Sumatra to trace, so they can supply to Starbucks and coffee bean. Must be sustainable as well. Our system can trace from organic, vegan, or even kosher. So it has now, yes, sustainability. You don't hire kids to do your things and so on and so forth, and people are more ethical this time. So all that can be also added quite easily into the system if you're able to track that, right? And organic in the US actually is quite tough to get in Australia or New Zealand because you have to at least 30 years, there's nothing planted or chemical in your soil. So I don't know how you're going to prove that. So anyway, back to you, how you want to go into halal. Senang aja, it's okay, halal, So we have so many successful stories about durian paste, for example. They have their ladang, they have their farm, and then they also create that. And then, of course, into the system. One thing for sure, our Verify Halal, although we have up to 3 million SKU connected to 12 countries today, you can check barang-barang whether halal or not, or who are the certifiers, ada semua, when it's going to expire, blah, 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 straight to the website. Tapi, you cannot beli lagi. We are inviting at the monument people like Gojek, even Alibaba look at us and so on and so forth. How after that, those products can be, going to Abu Dhabi, going to other countries as well, or even go to Vietnam. So, and yes, hey, talking about Islamic, 70% of all Malaysian halal, Malaysia, we have about, at one time we have 14,000 halal companies in Malaysia, and it goes down because of MCO. Now I think about 9,000 sahaja. But we have about 40,000 over restaurant halal in Malaysia, all right? And unfortunately, halal dah become very difficult these days. So orang tak nak, people cannot do that. But only 10% to 15% use Islamic halal, Islamic banking, the halal industry. Katalah 10,000 companies, only 10 to 15% use Islamic financing. So tak semua guna. So these are all about education as well. So how Dr. James can go into the halal ecosystem? I think there's a big word, there's a big thing. So meaning, where do you want to go? You know, do you want to go to Abu Dhabi? You want to go to China? China love our halal because especially in, we do a research, especially on bird nest, durian paste, and baby milk. They love ada halal Malaysia. You can ask anybody around the world because ada banyak fake halal there. Not fake halal, fake barang. You know, chicken is not chicken, susu not susu, egg is not egg, cabbage is not cabbage, you know, and it's not a real thing, it's plastic. So rice is not rice. So if you have halal Malaysia or Indonesia for your baby food or baby powder, you'll be billionaire. Huh? Really, they love it and they want to go to the factory. So halal is gaining momentum, not because of religion, it's gaining momentum because it's good for your body. Yeah. And then so that's why it is science. It's nothing to do with religion. In my opinion, I'm a Muslim. Yes, Islam, but it's all about scientific matters in your thing, in your ingredient, from your drugs to your cosmetic. So if it's not specifically defined. So that's why now we're creating more knowledge worker as well. Because I told everybody in SME, don't make ketchup anymore, soy sauce, because there'll be thousands of ketchup producer already. Or you need to go into the ingredients of cosmetic and drugs. And there's a new ingredients for it that is not even produced yet, you know, or here. So you need to have that factory rather than ketchup factory. Minta maaf. I don't know if I answer your question, but I hope it somehow help.
I love the elaborate explanation, okay? I really appreciate it, right? So with that in mind, I want to move to Tuan Zakaria, right? I picked up something from your presentation, and one of our companies, Authority Institute, we champion companies to be 100 years, right? We believe that it's a Chinese taboo where most companies don't pass 3 generations, right? But you mentioned the word in your presentation that we need to be agile. We need to have agility. And how the system helps is by helping entrepreneurs and SMEs make an informed decision. Now, I'm really old school, and I was brought to say that if we become too dependent on technology or too dependent on artificial intelligence, how would individuals or SMEs right now make better decisions? Because things are moving so fast. Give an example right now. One of my friends who actually visited a doctor. And when he went to visit the doctor, he said, I had some sort of chest pains. The doctor didn't ask a series of questions. The doctor said, took a list out, do an MRI scan. It's like a checklist. And gave them, you just follow this checklist, and then you come back and see me, and I'll tell you what's wrong. So the doctor didn't do anything else. I said, how much was the consult? He said, not much, because it's a specialist, only 600. But the scans and apa macam, he said, different story. So you mentioned the word agile and informed decision making. That struck a nerve in me. How can FinTech, in that perspective, make better or informed decisions, but also allow individuals to have that? Because we are humans, right? Once we're at the situation, I believe, I'm still a bit old school, I believe we still have a better foresight because of our insights we have in business. We can actually determine what is the best at that time. So in terms of making an informed decision, how does that AI technology, how relevant or dependent can SMEs be on that?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I think that's a very good question in the sense that I like to relate what you mentioned about the doctor. This is our approach too. In most cases, like most of those credit agencies, they will focus straight to your credit strength. They will focus straight to whether you have any legal or whatever issues, like CTOS kind of thing. Okay, fine. So this is where TFX Islamic changed our business approach in the sense that we don't want the SME to get shocked. What we do is basically we do just like in this private hospital, we have a profile screening. Profile screening in the sense that we look at your blood pressure, you look at sugar level, kind of thing. We will not focus on one particular sickness. So what we do, we'll say that, okay, once we have done that, we'll say that, okay, fine, I think your gearing ratio is quite on the higher side. Don't be alarmed because based on our analysis, your peers are having the same ranking. So this is where we'll provide the comfort to the SME saying that, okay, fine, although my gearing ratio of this, I mean, generally, if you talk about the, financial methodology, okay, if gearing ratio of this times, then this is bad. No, what we do is just that we say that, fine, for this particular industry, yes, this sort of gearing ratio is acceptable. So in other words, you will have the comfort. You will have the comfort saying that, okay, so I can still move on. Just like as mentioned, the screen profile, the doctor will say that, okay, fine, I think your sugar level is on the higher side, but by virtue you are active in your sports, you are active in your activities kind of thing, you are still fit to do the job. So likewise, in our case, by virtue of that, so at least provides the confidence to the SME saying that, oh, okay, even my peers are having the same problem. Even my peers are having this sort of analytic. Because in most cases, most of the financial statements, most of financial reports are purely on a standalone basis, whereby you cannot compare yourself to your peers, to your competitors, kind of thing. So this is where you can actually, we can actually help the SMEs or the companies to make an informed decision based on this data. I hope I have answered your question.
Excellent. I love how it's more like a hive thinking. You just want to depend on your individual results. You want to see what is the surrounding and then make an informed decision. I think that's well. I really appreciate that. Ms. New, so hearing both lady and gentlemen share, so both your companies, Soltech and Fado, it sounds really amazing that you actually bring companies from cross borders, from Vietnam to Malaysia and vice versa. But how do you see blockchain supporting this and driving the growth in the local scene? I mean, let's be honest here. Pon Amna said, you know what, there are some countries that actually, they will move much faster than our own country. It's sad to hear that. But the fact of the matter is, where do you see, because you have actually set up base here, you're happily married and settled down here. So how can you actually, where do you see this blockchain and supporting what we call the support of growth in the halal supply chain? How does that come in? I would love to hear your thoughts.
Thank you, Dato'. I think pawn sharing is amazing. I keep listening, because for me, blockchain is something, it's a must. It's very important, and it moves so fast. Halal is a brand, and I cannot deny it. 15 years ago, when I was studying in UK before, I don't see Tesco halal. But now, we are seeing that. We're seeing the signboard, we're seeing Tesco, Sainsbury, everything we see. And for me, like today, this morning, I also learned a lot about the word that Professor sharing. Yeah, is about the wholesomeness. And when I see a lot of people are looking about the health products, the responsibility, so this is something actually awake us. It is just a certificate. Is to certify the product is halal. Actually, it's not a logo itself, because in fact, right, my family-in-law, we used to have a tampon biscuit shop, and we have factory, we have this, but in order to apply the halal, we need to have the whole thing, including the processing, including the workers, including the supply chain. And it's not that easy, just a certificate. You have money, but you cannot get. It's a lot of things that you have to think. So how the system actually can do that? And recently in Fado, we actually building, and myself, I also build B2B platform. We're trying to enable the blockchain technology. And one of the things is about the crypto. I think crypto is an example of the whole blockchain, right? So this is something that you have to transfer to some firm and you have to trace it with a smart contract. My experience working with Alibaba before when I was in Alibaba channel partner. So the whole process is awesome, to be honest. The first things when I train the manufacturer, how you can assure that this is, you are the reliable companies and you are trustworthy companies. So in Alibaba, actually they have a good system we call assurance and a trust. And these two, actually, I need to keep telling about, like Paul said, who is the trust, who can hold the money, who is the trust in the supplier chain. And we need those people to enable that trust. And the trustees plays an important role to make sure that the whole process works. That's why system enabler and the trust actually work together. In Alibaba system, actually, we can trace where is the product and how the product movement, and someone actually call in and certify whether this company is a genuine company or not, whether the ISO you have, and this ISO is genuine ISO or not, So this is called blockchain. This is called the technology that we are trying to move towards. We're not talking about IR 4.0. We are talking about the trade, the blockchain. So this actually system can enable that together with the organization, authorities, to make sure the trust actually are there. Without trust, the system also useless. Correct?
Might I add to that?
Yeah.
Because it's not just, system is just a system. I'm sorry. Yeah, we use smart contract as well. But in it, the party that you marry to would do it as well. If they don't do it, it's not, it's not connected to you,
Like Paul sharing the smart contract, that what I also want to share on the B2B cross-border. When the smart contract enable, it's just a system to enable the word itself. But what the system going to transfer, maybe for example, your goods in China. So China, they will send a trust to go there and check. When the goods, actually everything is okay, you go out from your house, then we enable another button. Okay, click. That's done. Check done. Release the goods. Release the money to the buyer. So that is how the blockchain works. And I keep telling a lot of manufacturers here, that is about the assurance. It's not just a big button you click on and off, Someone have to go there and check and verify. When they verify already, then we will send the notification, even the custom clearance at the FTZ. When you do the custom clearance through the FTZ, you will see the custom clearance are there. It's enabled, the feature as well. Yeah.
So technology is just to solve your problem, to make the system more efficient, knock you on the head a little bit, for not doing it right, perhaps. It's a human interaction. It's human and business participation and trust. I think at least that's my input on that one. I think, Dr. Zachariah, you also agree on that, yeah?
Data expert.
Same. We all need data. We massage data. We work on data. Yeah, please.
All right. So you notice it's just getting warmed up. And you know what? Just like a movie, I apologize because I just got the signal. If they want us to come back again. So I'll push a little limit, okay? A little bit limit. I believe she'll allow me that. So in closing, if there's probably one thing, because there's so much information here today, if there's only one thing, Puan Amna, dulu. If there's one thing you hope the people in the audience today can do as a result of your sharing, what would it be?
One thing.
Only one.
I want you to buy more halal products.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Puan Amna. Ms. New, what would that one thing be if you want to get the audience to do as a result? Because a lot of conversations are important. A lot of reading is important. You took more than a decade to be where you are today. And we have less than an hour and we cramped it. I'll try my best to have probably 10 questions here, but I ask you, what's that one question I hope that could make a difference and impact in every audience here? So what is that one thing that you hope that the people here can take away, that they will take action on?
I feel that we are in comfort zone. Even though we learn or we prepare, we are very good in our work, like day-to-day work. But for me, I travel a lot of countries so far, 18 years outside UK, Singapore. I stayed in Singapore for 3.5 years. So I love the way that we try new things. Actually, all of you are very senior. That's why you already passed through this. But maybe for some companies or senior or even junior here, we just try our best to do. Just do it. Don't need to talk too much. So you think about supply chain is important. Just start to automate. And try to automate one thing on Monday. On Monday, try to automate one thing in your day-to-day work that you keep repeating again and again and automate it. Like my team also, I tell them the same thing. Automate it. Don't do everything the same again and again. Right? So Monday, open your laptop, try to automate one thing that you feel that, that is automation. Then the supply chain will happen.
Right, so we have buy halal products, support, then we have do one thing on Monday, not today, because we still have another day 3. If you like, a little plug. If you want to have a little workshop, I'll be sharing my team and my partners tomorrow. Join us on day 3. So let's save the best for last. What is one thing, good sir, Tuan, you want to share with the audience here that you feel they can really think that they must do so they can really impact not just the halal industry, but I think the industry as a whole?
Well, people used to say that your staff is your asset. I would like to add on, your data is your commodity. Please leverage and make use of data, because other people like us will make money out of your data. So you better you better appreciate and leverage on your data. Okay, that's it.
Bonus.
No, I think I'd like to conclude properly by saying that I know in this today's world, everybody is an expert in their own field. So we need to leverage on each other rather than start from zero. We need to partner. I think if we know, I partner with you, because nobody can stand on its own today. And why start from zero? You cannot be everything. So by having partnership and collaboration, like Dr. Annie mentioned, we partner, then you will flourish together. I think today, I hope, in this day or two, if we partner with each other and we meet partners today, we can go beyond what we expected.
So we like to thank our distinguished panelists and our moderator. Let's give them a big round of applause. And ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have found the presentation useful and informative. And